What's up, guys? Phil from RedEye Gaming here, and I'm bringing you F1 2015, and I'm going to title this Revisited. When the game first came out, at least for PC, I wanted to do a review of it. However, I didn't, just because there were some bugs and glitches, and I didn't really play the game enough to give an honest, fair review of what I thought of the game. However, this past weekend, I just saw they had a bunch of patches that came out a little bit before, and I just went ahead and started playing the game again, and I have to say, I had a lot of fun. So I'm going to give, a good review here now that I've actually gone through and played the game for a decent amount of time, and I can give a good, honest, fair review, because I don't think I could have given that good, honest, fair review in the beginning when it first came out on PC, just because of some of the bugs and glitches that have been patched and are fixed now, thanks to Codemasters. So I'm going to start out talking about the graphics. I think this game looks really good. I don't have a great PC, I have a pretty good PC. I can run it on Ultra, but I get every once in a while it will drop to like 45 from 60, so I usually just run the game on high graphics. I don't see a huge difference, and I can keep a steady 60 frames per second on my PC. Your results may vary. I will put my PC specs in the description so you can look at them and see, what I'm working with, and that I'm able to run on high at 60 frames per second consistently. But I really think they did a good job with the, everything. The car models look really good. Even down to the steering wheels, you'll notice that all the steering wheels are modeled differently after the actual car, because in Formula 1 the steering wheels are different in different cars. As well as even the drivers. The drivers are modeled, I think they're modeled pretty well. Some of them aren't great. Some of them look kind of funny, but for the most part they look good. I would say for the most part the driver models look really good. And the last thing, the circuits. Great thing about the Formula 1 games is they give you all the circuits for a full Formula 1 season, and they're modeled really well. I mean, they're not laser scanned, but to me they're modeled very well. I don't think they could do a whole lot better without getting into laser scanning and really more high detail stuff, which I don't think is really needed for a game like this, as it is not really a full-on simulation, but more a really, really fun racing game that has sim aspects to it. So now I'm going to talk about the physics. As I said, no, this game is not a full-on simulation, and I'm telling you, a big reason of that is they have to sell this to a mass market. They could not make this game a full simulation, it would not sell enough, and they would just lose a bunch of money, so it's never going to be a full-on simulation. And if you're looking for a full-on simulation, you really need to look elsewhere. There are other games with, F1 cars in them that simulate, the V6 twin-turbo era, but if you're looking for a full simulation, you should probably just turn off this video, because you're not going to get it in this game. However, if you know that going in and you can accept that it's not going to be full-on simulation and come in with an open mind, I think you can find there is a good racing game under that. So the first thing when I really started sitting down playing this game is the braking felt so much different than any other game really I had played. Like, when I first started playing the game, it really felt as if the braking was an on-off switch, and it didn't necessarily, I really couldn't get the trail braking down. It really felt like the braking was 100% on or off, and if you tried to, brake in a straight line, you were fine, but then once you tried to turn, you would lock your wheels. And as I put more time in with the game, I did learn how to trail brake. It is like a little bit of a skill to learn how to trail brake in this game, because it is so much different. I believe they're trying to model the brake-by-wire that's in Formula 1. They've had certain drivers even complain about it in Formula 1 and how they even have trouble with the brake-by-wire. So, that's probably a somewhat realistic thing. It's definitely different, and I'm actually happy to see they modeled something like that in the game. I want to talk about the setup options that you now have in the game. They're really very similar to what was in every other F1 game. I mean, the only big things that they have that are new are tire pressures, and you can move the weight balance forward or backwards depending on how you want it. Everything else is pretty much the same thing you've seen in F1 games, where it's not super detailed, but once again, this isn't a full-on hardcore sim. It's made to mass market to people. The nice thing is these setup options do seem to have more change in the car, especially like downforce settings and things. You know, when you're in the career mode, if you will see different cars running different setups, like different downforce, because you'll see where you might catch up to a car really quickly in a high downforce section because you have more downforce than them, but then you get to a straight and they just walk away from you because you have more downforce. So, you know, you kind of have to really balance your setups, and that's something that's cool to see. So now I want to talk about the career mode slash lack thereof. Unfortunately, they do not have a career mode like they had in the previous versions, where you could create yourself or whoever you wanted to create in the game and go through and play for as many seasons as you wanted, and you could switch teams and get offers from different teams. That is no longer an option. The only thing you can do now is there is a career mode, but you have to just pick a current driver and you get to be them for one season and one season only. You can't continue through more than one season. You just have to start back at the beginning. The closest thing you could do is, since they do offer the 2014 and 2015 season, if you really wanted to, you could start in the 2014 season and then go to the 2015 season. The good thing, one of the things that I was really upset about when the game first came out, you know, I'm not a huge fan of doing the 100% races in these games. I can do them, but I feel like it's a little bit too much for a game. It's not like a full hardcore sim. But regardless, you couldn't change, and when the game first came out, you couldn't change the practice length and qualifying length for a career mode. You could only change, like, if you wanted how long the races were, and once you changed how long the races were, they automatically set the practice and qualifying length for you, which was annoying because I just wanted to start out doing 25% races, but I wanted to still do the full-on knockout qualifying because that's a big part of Formula One, you know, and a lot of strategy is involved in that, and you couldn't do that. But that has been patched. You can do that now, so that's good. Also, they have added, you can now do free practice 1, 2, and 3. Thank God. I mean, I don't think many people are going to use this feature, but I'm just glad it's in the game. I don't know why it wasn't in the game before. If they could have 1 practice, why couldn't you have the option for 3? I never understood why that wasn't in the game before. I'm so glad it is. And finally, it is worth mentioning they do have the Pro Season mode, which locks you into cockpit view and 100% length and distance for everything, and takes all of your HUD away, so you have to ask your engineer about everything. And that's the other option for career mode. Now I'm just going to go through a couple of the cars in practice mode and let you hear how different cars have different sounds. So those are some of the sounds of the cars from the kind of the garage. You can go through and look at every AI character where they, as long as they're out on track, which is a pretty cool new feature they have in this game. And I have to say, I think the sounds are pretty good. If you go watch an onboard video of a 2015 F1 car and then you come back and listen to the sounds of this game, I have to say I think they're pretty spot on as far as, being, I mean, they are a video game, they're not going to be perfect as far as sounds, but they're definitely believable, and whether you're a fan of the F1 sounds currently or not is a different story, but I think they sound very believable, and I think they did a good job on the sounds. So now I want to talk a little bit about, some of the things in the game that I've noticed that I either, like or dislike. The one thing that really irks me, and I don't know if maybe I'm just missing a setting, so let me know in the comments if I am. I have a different, two different controllers plugged into the game. My wheel and my pedals are separate because I am running a Thrustmaster T300 wheel and Fanatec CSR Elite pedals. So you have to make a custom configuration for this. However, every time I load up the game, it doesn't remember my custom configuration, so I have to go back and remake it. Now, yes, this only takes about 10 seconds to do. It's just really annoying that every time I load the game, I have to remake my custom configuration for my wheel and pedals just because I'm, using separate pedals and wheel. I mean, I feel like they should just save my settings, right? And maybe I'm not doing it correctly, I don't know. Because it works, like once I set it, it works while I'm playing the game, but then as soon as, I turn the game off and relaunch it, it just completely forgets my custom settings. So that's kind of a bummer. I don't know if I can fix that, but let me know in the comments about that, guys. Also, another thing that I just don't understand, I don't know if this is a bug or what, but if you are coming out of the pits, obviously you can't control the cars in the pit lane, but once you get to a certain spot, like when the pit speed limiter is off, you can then control the car. It's like the force feedback has a 10-second, like, it doesn't work for 10 seconds, which is really confusing when you get control of the car but you don't realize it because there's no force feedback. That, and if you, say put you on a flying lap where they put you, as out on, they basically do most of the out lap for you, slash, simulate it and put you, on the back part of the track. Your force feedback doesn't even kick in right away once they give you control of the car, and it's very confusing as to what the hell is going on, and then, it randomly kicks in. I don't know if there's a fix for this, or maybe it's just my wheel, but it is really just odd, and it's annoying. Why does the force feedback not start as soon as you get control of the car? On that note, the force feedback in this game, is about the best way to describe it. No, it's okay. It lets you know to a certain extent what's going on with the car. It's not perfect. I think, some other full-on simulations that have really good force feedback have ruined me, because when I compare it to those games, no, it's not very good. But does it get the job done for this game that is mass marketed to people who are probably going to use a controller? Yes, it does. It gets the job done for most people who probably will never use the force feedback anyway, because they're using controllers. I do think it's, it's not bad, it's just not great. And the one weird quirk with it that I've seen is, when I first got the game, I turned all the settings up to 100 because it was so light I could barely feel anything. And when you hit a curb, it like really jolts you, but the normal force feedback isn't that strong. So I had to turn down the environmental effects, because if not, if you hit like a curb or a bump, it would like really jolt the wheel, and it actually slowed you down, because any little tiny bump, or you hit the side of a curb and it really jolts the wheel, and it makes your lap time slower, where if you just turn the environmental effects down, it doesn't jolt it as much, and it's easier to control. And the other thing I do want to mention is, for some reason, they've taken the safety car out of the game, and the AI handles yellow flags really oddly, and the game just in general handles yellow flags really oddly. And I'm going to show an example of that later in this video, but just be warned, the AI does handle the yellow flags kind of oddly sometimes. So now I'm going to show the good aspects of the AI, and they do race you. And here I am, Vettel's going around the outside, I'm in the Force India, Vettel goes right around my outside, and then here's a continuation of this replay. Here he goes, he went right around my outside, then I do have enough speed to catch him here down the hangar straight and make a move right here down his inside. However, I run wide, he does the switchback on me, goes right up my inside, and we continue to fight down to this corner where I do edge him out. I might have gave him a little nudge, but fair play there, that's for sure. And this is the same race where me and Danny Ricciardo just battled the entire race. And as you see, use the DRS, goes right up my inside. The AI is smart enough to overtake you, and they will do it. And once again, later in the race, here's me coming back at Danny Ricciardo. And I'm actually going around his outside, and I do get the job done around the outside of the Red Bull. And then here we are once again coming down the same straight, and this is again me behind him again, but I've managed to get by him. And then I wanted to show this video. Neither of these two cars are human controlled. These are both AI cars. This is the race that you saw earlier with me and Ricciardo. We were back in like 4th and 5th. This is for 1st and 2nd place. This is the last lap of the race. These guys literally scrapped the entire race. My engineer was telling me Rosberg's in the lead, no Raikkonen's in the lead, Rosberg's in the lead. Just look at how they just scrap, and they did this for the entire race. I mean, it was a 25% race, which I believe is 13 laps around Silverstone, either 12 or 13. And they just scrapped the entire race, and Rosberg finally passed him there on the this is the final lap of the race, and he finally does pass him there. And here comes Raikkonen right back at him, and Rosberg's able to hold around the outside, and he holds it, and he does get the win as they come into the last sector, and Raikkonen kind of runs out of time and space. But I mean, it's incredible to watch the AI scrap like that. The AI race not only you, but themselves, and it's great to watch. Okay, as much as I do like the AI in this game, and they are so much improved, and they are actually probably some of the better AI than in most racing games, they do have their quirks, so I'm going to show them as well. I want to give an honest review. I can't sit here and say the AI are the best thing I've ever seen. So the situation here is I'm getting ready to run my first run in qualifying run. I'm thinking, alright, awesome, got a clear track, should be able to get a good, clean lap in, no one's going to block me or anything. And then I make this turn, and here comes a bunch of people out of the pits, and he's just in the way. He just blocks you, and you're on a flying lap, and he's in an out lap. So I just go back to the garage. Now this situation, here's what causes this yellow. Hamilton does that. Now watch Ricciardo. We were behind this. As soon as the yellow happens, he pulls right off the road. You gotta be quick, but you can see the yellow flash right there. And as soon as the yellow flashes, he pulls off the road. So I wanted to show that. I know it's hard to see in that video. I really couldn't. I couldn't get a good angle, but and it was a shame because me and Ricciardo, as you saw earlier, we were scrapping for like 6 laps, going back and forth, trading positions. And then, Hamilton had an unfortunate accident with a lap while he was lapping a Marussia. And, the race for me was then over. Now, that was like the second to last lap of the race, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It just was, I was having a good race with them, and then the AI pulls off because there's a yellow in front of them. So that's what I was talking about earlier. The AI handles and the game in general handles yellow flags. I've gotten illegal overtakes under yellow flags. I realize there's no overtaking under yellow flags, but it'll be a car that's off the track that I overtake, and they'll say illegal overtake. So that's one thing that really kind of infuriates me. The yellow flags don't seem to work as well as they should. You know, they took the safety cars out. There's no red flags in this game. Some of the nice sim aspects, though, that are in this game, you know, you can manage the fuel. There's 3 different mixes. There's the standard, the high revs, and the lean revs. You know, and you can manage those throughout the race, which is nice. You know, obviously, I think the drivers do that in real life. I think they're a little bit more sophisticated than just 3 settings, but once again, it's still a step in the right direction, even though that was already in the other Formula 1 games. And your tires, I mean, you do need to manage your tires to make them last to, you know, when your next pit stop is, or make them last to the end of the race. It's something you need to, you know, think about when you're trying to overtake somebody. And, you know, last but not least, you know, I really wanted to start doing a career mode in this game. I'm trying to decide what kind of career mode I want to do, though. So if you have an opinion on what kind of career mode I should do, you know, what car you would like to see, or what driver you would like to see, I will be using the cockpit cam. I've thought about doing pro season, but I don't know if I really want to do 100% length races. I'd rather do 50% length races. I'm thinking of trying to do maybe one of like the mid-class teams. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. So yeah, guys, just to wrap this up here at the end of this video, you know, this is a good racing game. You can have a lot of fun with this game. You know, you get all the cars and tracks from both the 2014 and 2015 season. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of difference between those two. One big thing is you do get the Hockenheim ring for the 2014 season, as well as you do get the New Mexico track for the 2015. So if you're a fan of Formula 1, you should definitely check this game out. You know, you get all the cars, all the tracks. You can do, you know, a full season if you want. You know, you can talk to your engineer in pro season mode, or you can even just do 3-lap races if that's what, you know, floats your boat. So, you know, like I said before, if you're looking for a full-on sim, this isn't it. But if you know, if you're looking for a game with sim aspects to it that's a really fun racing game and you like Formula 1, I would definitely check this game out. It is a lot of fun. Until next time, guys, this has been Phil from RedEye Gaming. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps my channel out. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. See you later.